All right. Good morning, Mr. Smiley. Sir, you're charged with unlawful carrying of a weapon. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine.
Hold up. What happens when you combine a motorcycle, 122 miles per hour, a loaded Glock, and one of the most intense police chases in Harris County history? You get Mr. Smiley. And trust me, by the end of this video, nobody's smiling. We're about to witness a judge absolutely unleash on a defendant who led police on a nearly 10-mile pursuit, dumped his bike, hid in the woods with a gun, and is now facing the wrath of a judge who's not playing games. This isn't just about a traffic violation. This is about life, death, and a judge who's about to drop one of the most brutal reality checks we've ever seen in court. Buckle up, because this ride gets wild.
Fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
On August 9th, 2024, officers observed a motorcycle going 120 miles per hour in a 65 mile per hour zone.
120.
Okay, let's break this down. 120 miles per hour in a 65 zone. That's not just speeding. That's double the legal limit. For context, at that speed, you're covering the length of a football field every 2.2 seconds. The stopping distance? Over 500 feet. That's nearly 2 football fields. And here's what makes this legally devastating. In most states, going 30 plus MPH over the limit automatically escalates from a traffic violation to reckless driving, which is a criminal charge. Add the weapon charge on top, we're looking at potential felony territory. But wait, it gets so much worse. This wasn't just a momentary lapse in judgment. This was the beginning of a chase that would involve helicopters, K-9 units, and a judge who was about to absolutely lose it. Let's see how deep this rabbit hole goes.
20.
Yes, sir. The motorcycle had no rear license plate and unauthorized lighting. Officers attempted to conduct a traffic stop, but the defendant drove away and began to evade at a high rate of speed, ultimately getting up to 122 miles per hour. He ran multiple lights and was driving in between vehicles. A police vehicle shadowed behind, and visual was maintained by a helicopter. The total pursuit was 9.96 miles. The defendant then pulled into a gas station. Officers attempted to stop the driver there. He again pulled away. Eventually, he ended up at a dead end where he dumped the motorcycle and hid in the woods. Officers set up a perimeter, and K-9s located the defendant. The defendant had an empty firearm holster on his waist. The firearm was in a nearby bush. It was a black Glock Gen 5 9mm. The defendant admitted to throwing it into the bush.
This is where Mr. Smiley's bad decisions compound into a legal nightmare. Let me paint this picture. Nearly 10 miles of pursuit, helicopters tracking from above, K-9 units deployed. Do you know how much that cost taxpayers? We're talking tens of thousands of dollars in resources. But here's the kicker. He admitted to throwing the gun. That admission just sealed his fate. In legal terms, that's called consciousness of guilt. By ditching the weapon, he's demonstrating he knew he was doing something wrong. And a Glock Gen 5? That a $500 to $700 firearm. He just yeeted it into the bushes. The fact that he tried to hide it rather than legally carry it suggests he either didn't have a permit or knew the combination of the weapon plus the chase would land him in serious trouble. Question for you all. At what point during this chase do you think he realized he'd messed up? Drop your thoughts in the comments.
Mr. Smiley, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. Can you imagine at 122 miles per hour, if you fall off the bike, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? No more Mr. Smiley, Mr. Frowny. That's what's going to happen. You'll be carnage on the side of the road at 122 miles an hour. You'll be mangled garbage on the side of the road, Mr. Smiley. And all that has to happen is the slightest. I am taking away your privilege to drive. I don't care what is going on in your life. You will be signing an affidavit with me today, promising me you're not going to drive. I don't care what it is, a moped, a motorcycle. If I find that you drive, I will have a contempt hearing. You'll be facing an additional 6 months in jail and a $500 fine every time you drive. Do you understand? this is an affidavit that you will also promise to me that you're not to be in possession of weapons. One false move, you'll be spending a lot of time with me. And I'm not a fun person to hang out with. Do you understand?
This is judicial authority at its finest. The judge just pulled what we call a nuclear option, completely stripping driving privileges through a court order. This isn't a DMV suspension. This is a direct judicial mandate. If Mr. Smiley violates this, it's contempt of court, which means a judge can throw him in jail without a jury trial. That's right. No jury, no lengthy proceedings. Just straight to jail for up to 6 months PR violation. The judge is essentially putting him on judicial probation before he's even convicted. And notice the language shift? From Mr. Smiley to Mr. Frowny to mangled garbage. This judge is using shock therapy to drive home the gravity of the situation. The weapons ban on top, that's the judge creating a protective bubble around the community. One slip-up, and Mr. Smiley is looking at potentially years behind bars from contempt charges alone.
What date are the felonies set for? Dean? We are going to put your case for the same day as the felonies that are set for. What do you do for a living, Mr. Smiley? Doing what? So it's a full-time job. Okay. I'm gonna have you come up here, swear to us that you're not gonna drive, that you're not gonna be in possession of weapons, and then you'll be on your way. It is your responsibility to stay in touch with Frederick. If he tells me that he can't get a hold of you because you're playing games, I will issue a warrant for your arrest. I promise you now, there are no more PR bonds for you. Do you understand? I will do everything in my power to protect Harris County. At 120, if you would have hit someone, you would have killed them. And then you're charged with vehicular homicide. Think before you act.
Let's recap this absolutely insane case. Mr. Smiley faced unlawful weapon charges after 122 miles per hour motorcycle chase spanning nearly 10 miles, involving helicopters, K-9 units, and him ultimately ditching both his bike and a Glock Gen 5 in the woods. The judge found probable cause and dropped the hammer, completely banning him from driving anything and possessing weapons, with contempt charges hanging over his head like a sword. The stakes? Up to a year in jail, for $1,000 in fines for the weapon charge alone, plus potential contempt charges adding 6 months and $500 for each violation. The judge made it crystal clear. One wrong move and Mr. Smiley becomes a long-term guest of Harris County. This case shows how quickly a traffic stop can spiral into life-altering consequences. The lesson? At 120 miles per hour, you're not just risking your life. You're risking your freedom, your finances, and potentially someone else's life. If this case left you as speechless as it left us, smash that like button. Drop your verdict in the comments. Was the judge too harsh or spot on? And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more jaw-dropping courtroom breakdowns. We upload new cases every week that'll make you question everything. What case should we cover next? Let us know below.